could you? How could you?
Oh, Meg, they were awfully nice to me. Really, Meg. Why, Meg, you're blushing.
From that day on, we saw quite a bit of the Lawrence family. The boy Laurie often came to our house, but I couldn't have foreseen then all that my neighborly visit would lead to. One spring day in the garden with Laurie, I was reading him a story I'd just finished.
Go on.
The Count stood as one changed to stone, and turning to the bewildered crowd, Ferdinand added, with a mysterious smile upon his lips, "To you, my gallant friends, I can only wish that your wooing may prosper as mine has done, and that you may all win as fair a bride as I have by my masked marriage."
Joe, it's capital. Christopher Columbus.
I took it to the newspaper office yesterday. Nobody in the family knows I'm to hear the editor's verdict next week.
Josephine March, a real authoress.
If they use that story, they'll pay me $1.50 for it. In time, I can help support the family.
And now I have a secret for you.
Well, out with it.
Oh, this is rich. You promised not to tell.
Come on now.
Well, you remember last week Meg was looking for a glove she lost?
At the party you gave, yup.
Well...
Have you found it?
No, but,
Why are you so mysterious?
I know where it is.
Where?
Well...
Come on, tell me.
Mr. Brooke.
What about him?
His pocket.
You mean Mr. Brooke has it in his pocket?
His inside pocket. Mm-hmm. I caught him looking at it this morning. When I came in the room, he quickly stuffed it away and looked in the other direction. Well, what do you think?
But they've hardly ever spoken.
Well, that's not necessary.
I think it's dreadful.
Why, what's the matter?
It's awful. I don't know why you think it's so funny.
Oh, I thought it was jolly. I thought you'd be pleased.
Pleased? Oh, I hate this sort of thing. Love a business. I hate it.
I thought I was bringing you some plummy news.
Don't you see, Laurie? Our family's always been so close. We mean so much to each other. And now this means it's all going to change. If Meg leaves, it'll never be the same. It'll all break up and... Oh, I hope she doesn't go.
Joe, why should you feel that way?
I do, that's all.
Joe,
Yes, Mommy?
could you come in the house a minute?
All right, Mommy.
There's something I must tell you.
Amy, Beth, come downstairs. Family meeting. Coming.
What's it about?
I don't know. Don't you know?
No, what is it, Mommy?
Well, you'll hear in a moment.
Coming. What's it about? We're all here now.
You look worried, Mommy.
Children, I want you to be brave. It's about your father.
Father?
A telegram has just come.
Oh.
Your husband is very ill in Washington Hospital.
Oh.
Please come at once.
Oh.
Now, don't cry, children. Now, above all, we must think clearly and quickly and face our tasks. I must leave for Washington tonight to be with your father. The train goes at 8 o'clock. Don't cry, Beth.
I won't, Mommy.
Joe, I've written a letter to Aunt March. For your father, I'm not ashamed to beg from our relatives. I've asked her for money for the trip here. Without it, I can't afford to go. Will you take it and do all you can to persuade her?
She'll croak about it something awful. She has such a temper.
I know, but we must try.
I'll go, Mommy.
Meg, I want you to get my black leather trunk from the attic.
What's this? A trip to Washington? Stuff and nonsense.
Aunt March, you must
Oh, I
please.
always said it was foolishness, your father trotting off to war.
Aunt March, I beg you.
I told him wars are won by soldiers, not chaplains.
Aunt March, listen, please.
Now, maybe next time he'll listen to me and not go off, leaving others to look after his family and treat them to trips to Washington.
Aunt March, you have no right to put it that way. Father is sick.
Silence, girl, and mend your manners. Trip to Washington, I say again, rubbish, stuff and nonsense.
Mommy, why isn't Joe back yet?
I can't imagine. I'm beginning to get worried. What can she be doing, children?
I don't know. She's been gone so long.
I have to go soon.
Oh, isn't it just like Joe suddenly to disappear when... Oh, the door.
I'll answer it.
Madam.
Oh,
Oh, yes, Mr. Brooks.
Mr. Lawrence, hearing of your trip, has just commissioned me to go to Washington to transact for him certain necessary business there. And, since we shall be traveling on the same train, he instructed me to place myself at your disposal and offer myself as escort for the journey. Whatever I can, I shall do, both on the journey and in Washington.
Oh, Mommy.
How generous. Will you thank Mr. Lawrence? I accept gratefully.
Oh, I am glad, madam.
You don't know how reassuring this is to us, Mr. Brooks.
I am happy to be of service, Miss Meg.
The journey to Washington can be a fearful experience, I'm told.
Oh, yes.
The constant shaking in the dust and the spring rain.
Yes, indeed.
Sometimes there are floods, I know, and whole bridges collapsing.
And portions of the track washed away and simply disappearing.
And just knowing that you will be watching over Mother will be a great comfort.
Thank you, Miss Meg, and may I say...
Mommy!
Oh, Joe, there you are, dear.
Oh, thank goodness I'm on time. Oh, Mommy, Aunt March was simply dreadful. She simply said no, just a flat no, so
But dear, she did send money over. One of her maids brought it. She must have changed her mind. She sent enough for the train fare.
Oh, she did? Well, you're going to need a lot more than that, and this'll help you. You can buy something Father needs with it.
With what, dear?
Here, take it.
Heavens, Joe!
$25.
25? Why, Joe.
My word.
Wherever did you get it?
Look.
Oh, Joe, your hair, your beautiful hair.
Yup. I sold it to the wig maker. He gave me that for it. Snipped it right off.
Joe, it was your crowning glory.
No man will ever be stirred by you now.
Oh, well, what do I care for such nonsense? Father is sick. He needs help. I wanted to help him. Besides, it'll do my brains good to get that mop off them.
Joe, how can you say that about your hair?
Oh, Joe, let me hug you, girl. It was a fine thing you did to sacrifice your greatest beauty.
Now, Mommy, you'd better be going for the train.
Oh, Joe, that impetuous spirit of yours that leads to such kind, impulsive deeds. It could also lead to trouble. Watch it when I'm gone, girl.
Yes, Mommy.
Meg, dear, my womanly Meg, your heart rules your head. See that it doesn't when it shouldn't.
I shall, Mommy.
Beth, your only fault is fear of what lies before you. Have courage, Beth.
I will, Mommy.
Amy, we all think so well of you that you sometimes think too well of yourself. Be careful.
Yes, Mommy.
Now, I must leave you. Be what your father wanted you to be. His little women.
So for the first time in our lives, we were left alone. News came from Washington that Father was improving, and we breathed more easily. Mr. Brooks sent us stiff little bulletins every day, signed.
Your faithful and obedient servant, John Brooks.
Meg read them aloud over and over again, including the signature. And so, though they were miles apart, this threat to our family seemed to grow and grow, and my heart stood still with fear as I watched her. Then Meg, Amy, and I were sitting at home early one evening. Beth was out, but Laurie was with us.
Joe, stop gloating over that check.
Oh, how can I help it? $1.50. It'll pay for some medicine for Father.
Of course.
And the next time, they'll give me more.
Now, this is what I would call a snippy nose.
Amy, what on earth are you doing?
Is she at that business again? Amy, I wish you wouldn't.
What is it?
I'm drawing noses.
What?
I don't like my nose.
So she spends time drawing noses she'd like to have if she could choose a different one.
Now, here's an upsy-daisy little nose that I don't like, but some men might.
Amy, really? Talking about men and whether they'll like you.
Horrid, isn't she?
I know you don't like love.
Now, girls, really.
Beth is back.
Why's she knocking?
That's funny. I'll open it. Well, come in. What's the matter?
Stand back. Don't come near me.
What is
Beth.
it?
You stand back and I'll come in.
All right.
What is it, Bessie?
Mercy, Beth, tell us. I went to the Hummels again. Family Mother was looking after the baby has been sick. Tonight I held her while Mrs. Hummel went for the doctor. She died in my arms.
You poor girl.
Oh, Amy hasn't had scarlet fever. She must stand back. Heavens. Have you had it, Laurie?
Yes, I have.
So have I. Beth, you've been over there 3 times this week, haven't you?
Yes, I have a fever. Doctor told me to come home at once.
Bethy, darling, sit down. Your head is like an oven. I'm afraid... Amy, you've got to leave now.
Go to Aunt March.
I don't want to.
You must. You've got to.
But I don't want to
Amy,
leave.
please be.
Come, Joe. We've got to get Beth to bed.
Yes, come on, Bethy, to your room.
I'm all right. Come, dear. We'll help you.
That's it. We'll get you into bed, dear. We'll get you into
They're
bed.
right, Amy. You've got to leave.
Can't I help?
Not here, you can't. Why, if you get it too, it'd be a catastrophe. This is a bad thing.
Still, I wish
now,
I...
Amy, look, you can help most by going. Look, I'll follow the example of the worthy Mr. Brooke. I'll put myself in charge of bulletins, and every day I'll drop in on you and let you know how things are.
Will you, Laurie?
Why, of course. And I'll do even more. I'll bring you surprises.
Oh.
I'll bring you a flower from our garden every day. And I'll bring you pictures of handsome men and women with interesting noses.
Do you promise, Laurie?
Of course.
Well, I'll go then.
Good girl.
Laurie.
Yes, Joe?
Laurie. Could you go for our doctor, Dr. Bang?
Of course, at once. Look, Amy's going to be sensible and go to your aunt's.
I'm glad, Amy.
I'll go right
now. Wait
now.
a minute. Before you go, one thing. We mustn't write a word to Mommy. If we did, she'd come at once and leave Father. That would be dreadful.
I'm afraid she would.
So not a word. Oh, I could lash myself. If I hadn't been so intent on my stories, I'd have been going to the Hummels instead of Beth. Each time, all three of us left it to her.
Joe, don't blame yourself.
We'll make it up if we can.
Joe, if there's anything I can do, please understand. All I want is to help you in every possible way.
Oh, thanks, Laurie.
The crisis came a week later. Beth was very sick, and one day as she lay on her bed mumbling incoherently, we finally sent a wire to Mommy. We waited anxiously for her to come. That night, none of us slept. Mr. Lawrence paced in the living room downstairs. Laurie lay on the hearth rug. Meg and I stayed in the room with Beth, sleeping in turns at the foot of her bed. The hours went by.
What's she doing? With her hands, look.
She's playing the piano on the bed covers.
Can you tell the tune?
It's what she always played. Sing it to her, Meg. She's smiling, Meg.
Oh, Meg, don't.
I'm so wicked, Joe.
No, you're not, Meg.
I am. That day Beth went to the Hummels when I wouldn't go. It was because I wanted to sit home and read Mr. Brooks' letters over and over. It was wicked of me.
Meg.
I've only talked to him 3 or 4 times. Mother said that my heart rules my head. She was right. Oh, Joe, if Beth gets better, I'll never let myself have such thoughts again.
Don't say that, Meg.
God, help Beth get better. There's nothing I won't do. Amen.
Meg, she's breathing more easily.
Oh,
Her forehead is cooler. She's sleeping naturally. The change has come, Meg.
oh,
There's the carriage.
it's stopping at our door.
That's Mommy, and there's Father, too. They've come.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, Meg, they've come in time.
The curtain has fallen on the first act of the Theater Guild production of Little Women, presented by U.S. Steel and starring Katharine Hepburn. Before our play continues, here is George Hicks with a Christmas message.
The night was dark and cold, and there was snow on the hills of Judea as a weary man led a donkey into the outskirts of a town in southern Palestine. He and his wife had come a long way. According to the Romans, the date was 754. According to our calendar, it was 1 day B.C., and the man and his wife were named Joseph and Mary. Through the crowded streets of Bethlehem, they went to the inn, but it was filled and there was no room for them. So they took refuge in the only place they could find, a warm stable. And there in the stable, a boy was born. A manger was his crib. At about that time, 3 wise men entered the city of Jerusalem. They said that they'd been led by a star out of the east to find the newborn child who would be king of his people. and they bore gifts of gold and incense for the infant. The 3 wise men were directed to Bethlehem because an ancient prophecy had foretold the birth of the ruler there. In the stable, as the happy parents were admiring their firstborn, shepherds came, bringing presents. They told how they'd been tending their sheep on the hills around Bethlehem when an angel appeared and said, "I bring you tidings of great joy."